Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Dr. Stacy Holweger here. I'm so excited you all decided to join us this evening for our Tuesday night X39 Science and Technology Zoom. We are going to be sharing with you about LifeWave's technology, how this works. Some frequently asked questions are going to be answered, of course, in the beginning, and how this can help you. And I do love the last part of this Zoom, which is the live Q&A, where you're allowed to ask questions in the chat, of course. We have hundreds and hundreds of people that come on here, so we won't be unmuting. But I do want to let you know before I get started that I am not a medical doctor. I have a PhD in integrative medicine and a PhD in functional medicine. So I focus in the holistic world of alternative types of therapies and modalities to help your body get into balance and stay into balance. And LifeWave is an incredible technology that I discovered almost 3 years ago now and have been utilizing not only in my practice, but helping thousands, tens of thousands of people all over the globe do the same. But I am not here to treat or to claim to cure or diagnose anything that's going on with you. If you have questions about your health, which I know you will, I'm happy to answer questions in the chat in regards to symptoms you're experiencing, things that you would like to improve upon with your health, but I won't be addressing specific diseases or syndromes or any type of conditions that you may have. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about the questions you want to ask, because we are not here to make any of those types of claims. And the information I'll be sharing with you also, we will have a link in the chat that will link you to our clinical studies and to the patents. And we do discuss the benefits of this technology on your organs, on the systems in your body, and of course on your cellular function. So that's going to be what we are focusing on and addressing this evening. So I'm excited to get started and to share this technology with you. So what we're talking about tonight, honestly, it's not new. It may be new to you. And if you're a guest here this evening, thank the person that invited you, because they probably just discovered it themselves. But it's not a new technology. It's actually been around for over 20 years. I can't believe LifeWave is celebrating their 20-year anniversary this year. I wish I would have known about it over 20 years ago, but I didn't. It's called divine timing. We all find out about these things when we're supposed to. But this technology is a non-transdermal patch. It looks like this. Looks like a little round Band-Aid. It's sticky on one side and smooth on the other. We're going to talk about what's in the middle here. That's what our inventor, David Schmidt, has created, this non-transdermal patch. So a couple of things I want you to understand. First off, non-transdermal, you're probably familiar with transdermal patches, like a nicotine patch or a weight loss patch or a pain patch or a birth control or hormone patch. Those patches are transdermal. They transfer an herb or a medicine or a chemical or a nutrient through your skin into your body and cause some type of change. We know our skin is our largest organ. Anything you put on your skin is going to be absorbed in. I personally just used a lotion that I brought back from London a few weeks ago that has frankincense in it. And so you can see how shiny and smooth and my skin is here. I put that on the back of my hands before I came out. Normally I'll use my aloe vera, but that was what was sitting on my desk right now. And my aloe vera night cream's in the other room in the bathroom. So we're not talking about anything that's going to transfer something into your body with our patches. Okay. But I want you to understand your skin absorbs everything you put on. This is different though. This is actually a wearable light technology. And we're going to talk about that, how that is, how that works. What does that even mean? And what does it do? So we know that I just put this on my body. You guys watched me. We didn't see any sparks or anything happening, right? We didn't see any flames or light beams shooting out from this patch, right? So nothing happened when I put it on, okay? But I said it's a wearable light technology. That's what I want you to understand. So this patch, you put this patch on your body in the morning when you get up, okay? That happens first thing in the morning. This patch right here, the X39, is not a nighttime patch, but I'm putting it on right now just for purposes for you to see it right here. You can put it on the back of your neck. You can put it below your belly button. You can put it right here. You can put the patch anywhere you want. It doesn't matter because this light technology works with your whole entire body, no matter where you apply it. So I put this on. What happens? I didn't see anything. I didn't feel anything. How do I know anything is taking place? Well, let's talk about how that could be possible. Put your hand on your chest or on your arm, right? You're about 98.6 degrees. That heat that you are emitting is what we call a low level infrared light. It's measurable. How do we know this? Because right now I live in Florida, it's dark outside and I can go outside. I can't see the neighbors down the road. I can't see the animals in the woods unless I'm looking through night vision goggles. Night vision goggles allows me to see thermal imaging, heat images. So bodies, animals or people, their colors, right? You're going to see through these night vision goggles, red, blue, green, yellow, orange, whatever color the bodies are emitting, all different colors, right? It's many different colors throughout the body. And so that is what this patch is working with. It's working with my body's heat or light that I emit. Hopefully you understand that part and that part makes sense. So we know light creates change in the body. That is given. It's called photobiomodulation or phototherapy. That's been around for thousands of years. You can actually go to PubMed and type in phototherapy or photobiomodulation. You'll see thousands and thousands of clinical studies and research with light creating change in the body. You're probably familiar with red light therapy. I know when I go to get a facial, the girl put the little, dome thing over my face for the end for the collagen and elastin. Or maybe you've been to an acupuncturist or a chiropractor that's used a wand, like a laser, or red light or blue light laser, cold laser. I personally own an infrared sauna. And so infrared saunas emit wavelengths of light. Right? You're probably familiar with the sun. As you can tell, I've been in the sun. I've been going for walks. And of course, it's beautiful outside right now in Florida. It's 80, 85 degrees. So, the sun's like, hey, we're here. Yes, we're done with our winter. But the sun, specific wavelengths of light from the sun hit our skin, obviously, as you can tell, increase my melanin, and also increase vitamin D inside of the body. So we know that outside light sources, whether it's infrared saunas, lasers, or the sun, when that enters our body, you don't see or feel those wavelengths of light entering, but we know they create change. That's what's called photobiomodulation. That's the premise for this technology. But the difference with this technology is we don't need an outside light source. We don't need the sun. We don't need a sauna. We don't need a laser. We don't need a red light therapy dome or bed or anything else. We don't need the red pads that you put on your body and hook to the wall to plug in. We don't need any of that. We are the light source. We are the heat source, right? We emit that low-level infrared light. And so this patch works with us, with our body's heat or light that we emit. So then what's happening? If we know that, and that's a fact, that's given, okay, I can put this patch anywhere. It doesn't have to be on where you can't see it. I can put it down here and cover it up. It's still working down here. I'm just making sure it's up here so you guys can see it. But the patch works because of what's embedded inside of it. What David Schmidt, the inventor of this technology, has invented. Now, remember at the beginning, for those of you that are still coming in our waiting room, these patches are not new. David started inventing patches over 20 years ago when he was working with the Navy SEALs. But we're going to focus right now on the X39. That patch is what I'm wearing right here. And David has invented different patches over the last 20 years that do different things. And you can go back to my YouTube channel and you can see where I do a summary of all the patches and kind of give you a blurb on each one of them. But this patch has a very specific crystal lattice structure inside of it. You don't see it because it's a solution of molecules, stereoisomers that form together a very specific way. And they're reflective, like a lattice that's reflective. And that's what's inside of here. It's a proprietary blend of organic amino acids, oxygen, sugars, and water. Not things from your kitchen, but molecules that form together in a specific way that are reflective. Okay, so I put the patch on in the morning when I get up, brushing my teeth, put my patch on. That's what we do every single morning. Okay, you leave that patch on 12 hours, take your patch off, brush your teeth, go to bed, whatever you do. But this patch inside of here is that lattice. And because we put that on, what happens immediately? And again, you didn't see it happen, anything at all, but what happens is our light hits this patch and reflects back a very specific wavelength of light. So I have said all that I have said for you to understand, because for some reason tonight, and you guys that have been on here, you see me, you know that every week, I'm going to say basically the same things, but there's different parts that I'm really going to highlight or accentuate or lead. I don't know, whatever it is. The conversation in my mind just goes the way that, it's downloaded in. And tonight, for some reason, a lot of you needed to understand light therapy in your body and the way this works with that technology. We put the patch on, our body's light hits it, reflects back a specific wavelength. You won't know that wavelength of light because it is patented, but it's between the nanometers of 400 and 1,000. Can't tell you what it is because that's why we have a 20-year patent on it. But it elevates, this is the key part, when you put that patch on, that wavelength of light elevates a peptide in our body. Whew. How do we know that? What is a peptide? How is this even possible? Peptides are chains of proteins, amino acids. You have thousands of them in your body. They're the building blocks of your body. But this patch elevates one specific peptide that has a lot of responsibilities. That peptide is GHK-Cu copper peptide. Dr. Lauren Picard discovered this peptide 53 years ago. It is not new. It's been in your body since you were born. Unfortunately, it's declined as you've aged. We call this peptide the fountain of youth. That's what Dr. Lauren Picard focused on initially in his research, was the benefits of GHK and what it did for the skin, for collagen, elastin, for aging, spots, lines, wrinkles, circles, saggy, crepey, all the above, right? Well, guess what? It does a whole lot more than that. But I'm sharing this book with you because if you want to learn more about GHK from Dr. Lauren Picard, you can get this book off of Amazon. I got this 3 years ago when I started patching, and it was a huge wealth of information and resource, of course. But we do know most recently, David invented an eye cream, which I've been using here the last several months, that actually has GHK in it. Because again, GHK was most commonly known for anti-aging for the skin. So our eye cream actually elevates and has GHK in it to reduce wrinkles and lines and visible appearances of aging. But it does so much more than that. As you can see down here on the bottom, resetting your genes to youth. I'll get to that part in a second. We don't have time to go into all the benefits of GHK tonight, but I do have to promote this book because gotta love Dr. Harmon's book, right? How to Reverse Aging with GHK. Again, this patch elevates your own GHK. It is a peptide that you were born with that declines as you age. So you put this patch on and immediately it's elevating that peptide. It's activating that peptide. No, yes, it is. Thumbs down. Yes, thumbs up. I can't control that thing. We know it's doing it. Yes, it is. I'm going to argue with the AI component of my Zoom right now. So that peptide is being elevated. We can see this in blood work. We have clinical studies. We're going to put the link in the chat. Double-blind, placebo-controlled, peer-reviewed studies that show that when you put this patch on, there is an elevation of GHK in the blood. That happens. We'll talk about what happens from there. But let's talk about GHK first. This book is easy to understand and read. It takes each of the benefits of the main benefits of GHK and breaks them down into the different chapters. I'm just going to read a couple of them for you, right? GHK has benefits in improving the immune system. Of course, we talked about the skin already. Copper peptides improve the function of the cardiovascular system. Do you guys have a heart? Everybody has a heart, right? You all have one heart. Benefits of GHK in the cardiovascular system. The role of copper peptides in athletic performance. Copper peptides and the improvement in metabolic regulation. Copper peptides in the brain. Copper peptides in neurodegeneration. Copper peptides and cognitive function. The healing power of copper peptides. Copper peptides and activating stem cells for regeneration. Now, you saw on the front of Dr. Cart's book, Resetting Your Genes to Youth. Well, what happens when you elevate GHK? All of those things, so much amazingness happens, but it actually resets a third of your genes back to their young, youthful, healthy state. That's a benefit of GHK. Now, how can you get GHK? Well, you can inject it. It's a peptide. You can buy it. Get yourself some needles and start injecting. Of course, you have to have a prescription from a doctor, but that is something that you can do. It's pretty invasive. Of course it is. It's pretty pricey, and there are some risks and potential side effects, of course, as with anything when you enter the body. So this patch, in a very non-invasive way, because nothing's entering the body, zero risks, zero side effects or contraindications, worries, and very affordable, is a way that you can activate your own GHK. You can reset your genes, a third of them, back to their young, youthful state from day one when you put the patch on. One of those benefits, just one of those benefits, is activating your own stem cells, elevating, mobilizing your own stem cells. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but you were born from stem cells. We had an egg and we had a sperm. They came together and stem cells were formed. And those cells, stem cells, turned into different types of organs and tissues and cells and parts of the body, right? That's what formed that baby in the first 9 to 10 months that it was in utero. We call that pluripotent cells that are changeable. Once the baby's born, which you've all been born, of course, then some of those cells stay changeable, but the others are the way they are. Your heart cells stay your heart cells, your kidneys stay your kidneys, and whatnot. But some stay changeable to help the body repair and regenerate over time. What happens, though, when we're young, we have an abundance of those stem cells. That's why kids have so much energy. That's why they can hurt themselves and then get up and take off running again. That's why they sleep amazing and they learn so fast. Their brain is just sharp as a tack. But as you age, you have less and less stem cells that are active. And so we find the degeneration process starts to come in. By the time you're in your 30s, you have half of your stem cells that are still mobile and moving about and doing what they need to repair your body. By the time you're in your 60s, you have less than 10%. That means 90% of your stem cells are dormant. And people ask me all the time, what if I'm in my 70s? You don't have any active stem cells. Well, then how is this going to work for me if I don't have active stem cells? Well, that's the beautiful thing about elevating GHK, about resetting your genes, about literally turning back the clock. Not only are you elevating GHK, which is the fountain of youth, that's waking up and resetting those dormant stem cells, waking them up, resetting them back to their young, youthful, healthy state. And so your stem cells will go to work to repair and regenerate whatever's needed in your body over time. We're going to talk about a compound effect. But here's what I want you to understand first. When I put this patch on in the morning, again, I don't see anything, I don't feel anything, but I know that this is what's happening inside. This change is being created, and that effect throughout the days and throughout the weeks and throughout the months of what happens from my stem cells waking up and being reset and going to work to repair whatever's needed in whatever order, that produces incredible results. And I'm sure if you're on here tonight, you've probably heard some amazing testimonials. I want to share just a couple studies with you really quickly, and then I'll share a couple testimonials that go along with those. So we have a study that says every 6 weeks, not 6 days, but every 6 weeks of using the X39, we can see the entire vascular system, your cardiovascular system, we can see that functioning 8 weeks younger. That's just one study when we're looking at the vascular system. So I interviewed, when I first started sharing LifeWave about 3 years ago, I interviewed a Dr. Eric Sanders. He's a pharmacologist, and he had a heart attack when he was 30 something years old, maybe 40 years old. He was young heart attack. His heart was functioning as a 75-year-old. Okay, you can measure the age of your heart. We know that there's lots of tests to tell you exactly how old that heart is or how young it is. And he was on prescription medications, of course, as a pharmacologist, at least 5. Did that for years and years and years. No improvement in the functionality of his heart, how old it was functioning. So he meets a woman and he gets off the meds and he gets into all the holistic supplements and nutrition and all this kind of stuff. Still, his heart's functioning in his 70s. And, he's not in his 70s biologically. So time goes on and he's 64 years old. Someone introduces him to the X39 LifeWave, X39 stem cell activation patch. He starts patching. He patches for a year. He's like, time's going to go by no matter what. I'm just going to keep patching every single day. Well, 1 year goes by and he retests his heart to see the age and the functionality of his vascular system. Well, his heart is functioning in his mid-30s. And what's pretty amazing is he shares all of this on the interview that I interviewed him on screen. So you can see the functionality, the different tests, like the ejection fraction and looking at the vessels and the arteries and the blood flow and, all of that going. You can see that in his results. 1 year went by. Years went by no matter what, and nothing had changed the age that his heart was functioning. He's 65 years old and his heart is functioning as if he's in his 30s. That's pretty impressive. Another doctor, Dr. Harmon, and you guys, I'm sure, have seen that interview. If you have not, you can check that out as well too. I interview him. He shares about his heart, his PVCs that he had his whole life, how those cleared up after about 6 months. He shares that he had a right branch bundle blockage in the heart. Like, that's not something you can go in and put a stent in. That's just going to decrease your lifespan. Period. End of story. And he was almost 70 at the time. He starts patching, of course, X39. About a year and a half, 15 months, something like that, 18 months goes by. He screen shares, shows his pathology reports from his MRI, his notes from his doctor. His right branch bundle block is gone. How is that? How is that even possible? Well, the body wants to heal itself. The body wants to be in balance. Homeostasis is where the body is always seeking. But what happens is that degeneration process, that body's ability to get back into balance because of aging, because of circumstances, right? That degeneration that takes place, the body's stem cells aren't active. They're just dormant. And so the body's ability to repair itself is declining. When you use this patch, you are elevating those peptides. You are elevating your own stem cells. You're activating, mobilizing them. They're going to work to do whatever's needed, wherever's needed. And for these two men, they had other benefits, lots of other benefits. You can hear them share that on the testimonials. They are in our Telegram channel. So get with the person that invited you. They can grab them very quickly. Dr. Harmon's most recent one was just a couple months ago when I interviewed him. But Dr. Sanders' initial one was way back in 2021. And I did interview him last year in 2023 again. He looked incredible. It was amazing what happened. But look at those. These are two totally different people that had totally different things going on. But yet our clinical studies supported that, wow, that makes sense. If your vascular system's functioning younger, things can happen. Change happens. Light creates change. Another study that I love is the one about our brain. So we can see in our studies, looking at actual EEGs, brain mapping, you can see the brain in colors, okay? I'm sure you've probably seen these images where it's thermal imaging, right? Where it's looking at different colors in the brain. And you can see a brain that has high anxiety, that cognition is not very, clear. We can see memory issues, and we can see that the brain is not in coherence, not in balance. And then we can see over time the change. You can see some changes for people in 3 weeks. Some things get a little wonkier, and then other things, improve. But at 6 weeks, we can really start to see some changes in the brain in coherence and anxiety levels coming down. The brain, the colors of the brain have changed. Imagine red, orange, those are more of a brain fiery, hot, not coherent. You're more blues and greens, kind of like my shirt. That's a brain that's more coherent and calm and less anxiety. And so we see that the longer you patch, the more of those benefits you see. And I can tell you countless stories of people that have had improvement in their cognition, improvement in their clarity, in their focus, in their concentration, in their memory from using the X39. There's a lady on my team. Her name is Kim. She's up in the Tampa Lutz area. She's so sweet. And she's been coming to our monthly meetings that we do when we share this technology with people. And she shared that her mom, she had finally, got it together a little bit enough to be able to afford the X39 for her mom. Her mom was in a facility, like an assisted living facility, and was having issues with neurodegeneration in her brain. And started using the X39 and noticed some changes. Noticed mom was starting to be a little happier, maybe a little bit more present instead of so kind of, distant and non, engaging. And then she noticed around that second month mark that mom was actually able to follow what was going on the TV and be able to have a conversation with somebody and have a conversation about what was happening on TV, where she hadn't been doing that for years. That's just one little example of helping someone improve their quality of life for what life we have. And again, it's just using that X39 to be able to support the body. The body knows how to heal itself. We're just giving it a tool to do that, right? To assist in that process. So that's basically the gist of our stem cell activation patch and how it works. But I do want you to understand there's a compound effect. I'm getting ready to answer your questions. I know we've already got about 30 of them in the chat, but there is a compound effect. And why I wanted to share with you some short-term and then also some long-term is because you don't know what your body's doing first. We cannot direct our own stem cells where we want them to go. You may say, oh, it's my knee. I'm trying to avoid a surgery, bone on bone, la, la, la. I'm going to patch my knee. I want this to repair my knee. And your body may say, I'm sorry, your knee is not the most pressing issues. Your kidneys are shot from all the medications you've been in on all these years. We're going to have to go and repair the kidneys first before we can even think about your knee. So you can't direct your stem cells. You got to be patient with the process. We recommend 1 month for every decade you are old. That's your starting point to wake up those dormant stem cells. So if you're in your 60s, it's going to take 6 months to wake them up. If you're in your 80s, 8 months. Okay. Doesn't mean you're not going to experience things or feel things along the way. I can 100, almost 99.999% guarantee you that along the way, you're going to feel something. You're going to notice something. Something's going to change, whether it's more energy or vitality, better sense of well-being, happiness, emotional, mental, less pain, better sleep. I don't know what you're going to feel, but you're going to feel things. The key is to patch until. Keep patching, staying consistent patching every day, day in, day out, week after week, month after month, until you can cross all the things off your list. It's going to take time. If you've been dealing with something for 20 years, 30 years, something chronic, you can't expect it to be all fixed in 20, 30 days, even 90 days, or even 6 months. We've got to be patient with that process. But you know what? Time's going to go by no matter what. You're either going to get older or you're going to get younger. And we can see age reversal happening in our studies. We can see that in our people that are patching. And I'm sure for those of you that have been on Zooms, you can see that in some of us that are continuing to patch here. We're knocking on 2 years door, 3 years door, 4 years door, right? For some of us that are patching the X39 that long, it's been out just a little over 4 years. So know that you have something here that can help you. Don't know what it's going to do on day 1 or day 10 or day 20 or day 60 or day 80, but I know that if you keep patching, you're going to get results. You're going to get benefits. The only key is to stay hydrated. Water, super important. You can see I have limes in my water right now. You have to stay hydrated. It's very important for the conductivity in your cells that you have water for this light technology to work the best. And I highly recommend some Celtic sea salt as well too. Got to make sure your electrolytes are in check. Okay, so let's look at our questions. Someone is hoping I can provide guidance. Turned my sister onto the patches. She's had some, joint pain and things like that for 20 years, was feeling well for a few years. She moved to Texas, feels the weather made it worse. Now that she's using the patches, she feels worse, ever unable to sleep. Pain is off the charts and she wants to return the patches. So, Joey, I would ask her first. I want to know, how long has she been patching? This is not a quick fix. If she's had an issue like that severe for 20 years, I would start with just the X39 and the Eon, those two patches, and I wouldn't use anything else right now. The lady that shared this with me 3 years ago had those exact same symptoms, and things were really, really bad. She was supposed to have been hospitalized. And someone shared the patches with her, the X39 and the Eon, and actually the Alavita. She had that in the beginning as well too. But I would make sure she's hydrated. I would make sure she has some type of electrolytes. Most people are deficient in magnesium and potassium. And I would have her keep the patches simple, so that way she can make sure she's reducing the inflammation, because her inflammatory markers are off the charts, I'm sure. As with any diagnosis, you have inflammation. So bringing the inflammation down with Eon at the same time you're using the X39 and staying consistent with that. Okay, so when you have, let me just say this, because I'm going to look through all your questions. X39, everything, no matter what, okay, without a shadow of a doubt. I always recommend Eon, our dynamic duo, X39 and Eon. I always recommend Eon with it when you tell me you have some type of diagnosis, okay? When you have a diagnosis, you have inflammation. You know that. The doctors told you your inflammatory markers are through the roof, whether it's your cytokines, your C-reactive proteins, your lipids, your fibrinogen, whatever it is, you can see that elevation in inflammation. If you have pain, you have inflammation. And this patch brings those inflammatory markers down. Why I call it the dynamic duo is because we know when you have inflammation, that is a consumer of stem cells. It just is. It's the body, it's biology. And so if I were to inject, say, 2 million stem cells into my shoulder where I had inflammation and range of motion and pain and all that kind of issue, right? I injected 2 million stem cells, I'm probably going to end up with 200,000 because the inflammation is going to consume the rest of them. So I want to bring the inflammatory markers down. Another huge benefit of Eon is it brings your body into a parasympathetic state. So we're either stuck in the fight or flight mode, go, 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 stressed, maxed out, or we're in the calm, rest, relax, digest state. Sympathetic nervous system, go, go, go nonstop. Parasympathetic nervous system, calm, rest, and relax. Which one do you think the body can heal in? The body can heal in a state that is calm and relaxed. And so bringing your nervous system into balance is a key component of your healing journey, right? We just know that. We want to bring that stress level down. And so using Eon is going to be very important. Now, when we look at the immune system, Deborah, we definitely want to look at adding our glutathione, okay? So we've got our X39, we've got our Eon. I'm looking for my there it is, my glutathione. So glutathione is so important for your immune system. This is your master antioxidant, immune booster, detoxer. This is really going to help with any type of immune issues. So let me back up and say this really quickly. You can use just X39 and X39 only, and you can use that until you cross all the things off your list. Remember at the beginning, and for those of you that joined a little bit after, at the beginning, I shared that David has invented a dozen different patches over the last 20 years. These are patches he invented a long time ago. This was the #1 selling patch that we had until the release of X39 4 years ago, because reducing inflammation solves a whole lot of problems in your body, and boosting your immune system solves a whole lot of problems in your body. So these were the 2 top sellers that LifeWave had until X39, and they're still right back there at number 3, number 2, 3, right, 4, right in the top 5 patches, because of how powerful they are in helping the body get into balance. So when anything immune system, anything at all, anything, glutathione. I mean, the oldest people on the planet have the highest level of glutathione. Just do some research on the blue zones if you haven't watched that yet on Netflix. It's pretty impressive, but you can also just, Google it. All right, question about the patches, symptoms with lung issues, pancreatic issues, skin, sensitive to chemicals, molds. Could not find anything related to this for all in one person. Well, I don't know that there's going to be something like that for all in one person, honestly. I had somebody ask me earlier about someone that had, a pituitary removed and they wanted a story to compare. And I said, I don't know that we're going to find one with somebody else that has had their pituitary gland removed and had benefits from the patches. Here's what I want you to remember. No matter what, X39 is activating your stem cells. Stem cells will heal everything. Your own body knows how to heal itself. So you don't need a specific testimonial or a clinical study to show that this is going to do this. We know the power of stem cells. Did you know stem cell research is literally a $1.2 billion a year industry? It is massive what's going on out there in research and people doing things trying to figure out what to do, how to do with stem cells. That David figured this out. It took him 10 years in the lab, but he figured it out over 4 years ago, how to activate our own. We have a patent that says we elevate GHK and we activate stem cells in our patent that we have for this patch. So be okay with the fact that you may not get to hear someone with your exact testimonial or that has your exact situation. Every single person's body on this planet is different. There's no two people that have the same thing going on physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And all of those play a big role in what's going on inside of your body. But know that your body's own stem cells know how to heal yourself if you will be patient. I would definitely use your Eon right along with that, Maggie, 100%. If you're looking at, chemicals and molds and things like that, if you have any of those, glutathione, again, skin issues, glutathione's an amazing patch to use to support. All the patches are amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should have all of them on day one. Okay. You would benefit if you have things with your pancreas. Carnosine's amazing for that. Things with your lungs, energy enhancer's amazing for that. But I would not use all of those patches on day one. I would start slow. I would start with X39 and add your Eon on day one. Those are two great patches to start with to really start that process. Give yourself 30 days, add in your energy enhancer then, or add in that carnosine at that point. Be aware, be body aware and go, you know what, I'm going to be okay with the process and take some time and I'll get there. Okay. As a newbie, what do you do if you get a headache with X39? Water. Water. I cannot stress this enough. Water is key. You can see my water. You think it looks cloudy. It's actually all the lime juice that I've squeezed in there. But water, pure, healthy, clean water. Right now I'm drinking my Saratoga sparkling water, but I also we have RO water. If I'm out, I'll drink Aquapana in a glass bottle. But using clean water will help your body. Most people are dehydrated. They drink coffee, they drink wine or sodas or who knows what else, and very little water, half your body weight in ounces every single day. And again, electrolytes are key. Celtic sea salt, get it off Amazon. Just take one tiny crystal, put it on your tongue before you drink a glass of water. It will pull the water into your cells and into your tissues to really hydrate yourself. That has 92 trace minerals in it. It's going to really help to balance those electrolytes. You need trace minerals. We all do. Most people have serious mineral deficiencies, and that can definitely lead to headaches and fatigue and things like that too. So when you're looking at the heart, again, someone had mentioned blood pressure. We can see in our clinical studies the X39, X49 combo being able to reduce systolic and diastolic in as little as 60 days. That's pretty impressive. I would definitely use your Eon. It has great benefits for your nervous system. And of course, reducing that fibrinogen is very important for your cardiovascular system. And we know that is a inflammatory marker. So, what patches will help with bone spurs? I had somebody ask me this earlier. I cannot tell you that the patches are going to eliminate bone. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I can tell you what patches will help with pain, and that would be your X39, your Eon, and your Ice Wave. Ice Wave is that two patch system that helps to eliminate pain on the spot. And I will share with you in our in the chat here, we have these videos that David has done. And these videos are like 4 to 5 minutes each, but they show you different ways that you can use Ice Wave to be able to help eliminate pain on the spot. I like white right, tan left. You know, Brent was riding his dirt bike with Trey and one of his buddies this weekend and went over a little jump and fell the wrong way and twisted his ankle, the ankle that he had shattered about 30 years ago on a dirt bike. You think he would never get on one again, but he's a big kid. So anyways, it swells up and, turns all purple and all this stuff. I immediately grab a couple Eon, throw those on the ankle, and I grab an Ice Wave. And I put the white Ice Wave on his right ankle, and the left ankle, I put the tan Ice Wave. The tan goes on the left, the white goes on the right. And you could see the swelling was starting to go down. And, what he thought was going to turn into a trip to the hospital ended up, yeah, Brent, exactly right, Laura. Ended up that he's just got a little baby limp today, and it's a teeny tiny bit swollen, but no more purple, black, or blue, anything like that. And this had all happened on Sunday. So be patient with the X39 and the Eon and what they do, but get that Ice Wave on right away if you have pain. But again, I can't say that we're going to do anything to get rid of bone spurs. So let's keep going in our questions here. So we had a brand partner that had her own stem cells injected into her knee. A lot of people are doing that. When she first started using X39 a couple weeks ago, her knee started hurting. She wondered if the patch was affecting her knee. She said the stem cells were supposed to be active for 6 months, so she would begin the X39 in April. I encouraged her to at least wear the Eon and glutathione every other day until she would start wearing the X39. Checked with her. She was doing well with those two patches. Did I give her correct advice, or do you have advice as to why her knee started hurting immediately? So here's the thing about our body, and again, it's different for everyone. When you put on X39, some people feel energy, some people feel, like, woo, I can feel like a whoosh, like a little bit of warmth. And some people, like myself, feel nothing. We all feel something different. So if she felt a little bit of pain in that area, maybe it was just her body's electrical system, that energy flowing through her body. Pain is stuck energy. So if the energy starts flowing, and we know it does, this increases energy production, and the pain is stuck energy. And if it was causing pain in her knee, there's an area where there's some stuck energy. And so it was trying to flow through her body, and she could feel that. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong happening. And honestly, I don't know how old she is, but I'm guessing if she already pulled her own stem cells out and put them back in her knee, she's older and has knee issues and was trying to avoid a surgery. Remember, when you pull your blood out and you're in your 60s, you don't have active stem cells. You've got about 10%. So you're spinning that blood and sticking it back in with stem cells that aren't even active, right? You're trying to, imagine being on a merry-go-round. That's your stem cells at age 60. They're on a merry-go-round that's keep going nonstop. And then you want to try to wake them up and you inject them back in the body. And they're like, whoa, what's going on? We've been dormant for a long time. I know some of you can picture that with me, but that's how it is when you age. You just don't have those active stem cells. I would have her using that patch X39 right away, every single day. Eon as well too, and you can do the glutathione. People will use the glutathione on the outside of the knee and the Eon on the inside of the knee. Stick that X39 right on the knee. That's just me personally, but she can wait if she wants to wait. But it's not hurting because of the patch hurting her. It's probably just the fact that there's some stuck energy there, and the patch with her stem cells were trying to go to that area to, start doing some work. Need some help with lungs and shortness of breath. X39 Eon energy enhancer. Need more help. So I would add your X49. X49 increases oxygenation and circulation in your body. That's why it's really promoted for athletes, performance, endurance, stamina. I would use that for sure with that in addition to what you're currently using, Karen. Okay, so basal body temperature is 97.3. Will that make a difference? I love when people ask this question. Your body temperature has no bearing, right? I always joke it's not hot here yet. I mean, it just warmed up this week, but I always joke down here in Florida, we're usually run about 105 degrees. It's always smoking hot down here. So it doesn't matter what your body temperature is, whether it's a little low or a little high, it does not work with your body temperature. It's the low level infrared light that you emit. And I have people ask me all the time, well, what if I don't emit a lot of light? Or what if my body's energy is low or I don't have a high frequency? It doesn't have anything to do with that. This is a biophotonic exchange of information. Your body's light communicating with the light that's in the patch. You don't need to be a certain temperature or degree or energy frequency in order for it to work. It works no matter what, 100%. We can see that. So you're good to go. How to reverse aging. Oh, thank you for sharing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Does the sun affect the effectiveness of the patches? If worn out in the sun, like at the beach when exposed to a lot of sun? Nope. Thank you, Leah. The sun has no bearing on that at all. Adrenal support, I would use Maggie. I would use your X39 and your Eon, and then I would add the SP6 to that. The SP6 is a fantastic patch that supports your endocrine system, and your adrenals are part of your endocrine system. So I think those three would be a fantastic combination for you. Best way to support healthy cholesterol numbers, get your sugar in control. That's the best way to get cholesterol under control, is to stop consuming things that are high in sugar, processed packaged foods, things like that. I mean, cholesterol, your foods are not going to increase your cholesterol. Cholesterol is going on inside of the body. It's the body. We don't have time to get into that whole conversation because there's, I don't know, 50 more questions. But Kathy, your best thing to do is use your X39, use your Eon, use carnosine. Those would be fantastic. X49 is amazing for the cardiovascular system as well, but cut the sugar. Cut the sugar for sure. Get that under control. First time guest here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, you've been going to Mexico to have stem cell treatments for your son. I did that with my daughter. We went to Mexico 3 times years ago. I'll be honest with you, we saw more results with this patch in the first even 3 weeks, 3 months than we did in $75,000 worth of treatments in Mexico. We saw some changes. We saw some things improve when we were doing the stem cell injections, but nothing compared to this, especially that 1 year mark. It was massively different. What are the top 3 patches to offer for prevention and improved cognition, memory? X39, Eon, and yep, carnosine for sure, for the brain. And X49 has huge neurological benefits as well too. And we know glutathione, you got to get the toxins out, right? So definitely. Are there any journal articles about LifeWave and glutathione? You know, Carolyn, if you go to startx39now.com, you'll be able to see all the different clinical studies. There are a lot on glutathione. And so you can see if what you're looking for is there in that resource tab. Any thoughts on best course for a torn labrum? I would use your 39. I would definitely use Eon and carnosine. Definitely. My friend has been treated for fast growing cells. One of his current issues giving him fits. It's pretty severe lung congestion. Which patches or protocols would you suggest to help clear up the lungs? We've talked about lungs tonight. X39 Eon, energy enhancer for sure. You can use the lung points with your energy enhancer. Scar tissue, X39 Eon, Alavida for sure. The recording, yep. The recording for Dr. Sanders is actually Susan in the Telegram channel. So I don't have that recording on my personal channel. It's in the Telegram, but it's back from 2021. So you can just type in my name and maybe 2021, it may pull up, or just type in Dr. Sanders. Oh, thank you guys. You're very sweet. So for the Dr. Harmon, he did use other patches. I believe he also said he used Eon and carnosine. We didn't have X49 back then, so I think he was using those patches. Since patching the last 7 months, 70-year-old baseline, I was lifted from depression. I'm sleeping, dreaming, and have more energy. And my hairdresser noticed my hair is growing darker. Oh, thanks for sharing, Cindy. That's fantastic. Amazing. Such good results. 5 months of patching, yep, it depends on what patches you pick. If you just pick the X39, you can get what we have, what's called a gold wholesale pack. You can get 5 months of X39 for $4.99. You also do get a free supportive patch in that gold pack of your choice, whatever you decide. But you also can buy in larger bulk if you want below wholesale pricing, if you want to get the 12 months pack or the 19-month pack. And you can mix and match. You can put other patches in your pack besides just the X39. This is not a patching party. This is information that I'm sharing about the patches and then answering your questions. I do this every Tuesday night. We've been doing this for a couple years now. You heard David Schmidt make a statement about the third stem cell X59 patch. Is X49 considered a stem cell activation patch? Please explain. So right now, we do not have any patch that is called X59. And X49 is a patch that we currently have that David, his most recent patch, he's invented a couple years ago, and it activates a daughter peptide. So X39 activates GHK, which resets your genes and activates your stem cells. X49 is different in that it activates AHK, and AHK has affinity to specific areas in the body for repair. So X39, those stem cells go out your whole entire body, doing whatever's needed, wherever, whatever. X49, we know that peptide is responsible for building lean muscle mass, for reducing body fat, for stopping bone loss and increasing bone density, for having benefits to your cardiovascular system and your neurological system. So very different in that it has specific areas it likes to focus on. Do I recommend stacking X39 and Eon? It does not matter. We call this kissing, where you put one above or below the other, and stacking is one on top of the other. It doesn't matter. Whatever works best for you. It's not that I recommend it or don't. It's not going to have any bearing whether or not it works better or not. So the key is on the body. If someone has severe mercury poisoning and congested lymphatics, should they stay on energy enhancer or glutathione first? Get your fillings out. That would be your first thing you want to do for sure. Get those out immediately. If you still have mercury toxicity, high doses of vitamin C, a liposomal vitamin C, are going to be really important in your healing journey. X39, Eon, glutathione, 100%. Those 3 patches are for sure. Energy enhancer is going to move your lymphatic system. It's going to help pull, those toxins out through your lymph system. So it's very important as well. Rebounding, I'm a huge rebounder. Walking, any type of exercise gets your lymphatic system moving. So anything to get that lymph system moving is going to be beneficial. Can you do X39 one day and Eon the next? No. Definitely both together at the same time. Don't have a lot of money. You can definitely stick with just X39. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's a perfect patch to use, and stay consistent with it every single day, and you're definitely going to get there. Where are you, and is any team member able to come to your monthly meetings? I live in Sarasota, Florida. I do different meetings. I don't have a team meeting monthly that I do. I go different places, maybe on Zoom or in person if they're close to me, to go to do different types of, we call them wellness webinars, patching parties, wellness webinars. Well, I will go and share the information about the technology and answer people's questions. So I don't have a set team meeting that I do in a location. I live in Sarasota, and my teams are in different places all over the country and all over the world. So we do things online on Zoom. But if I do have someone that's close by within usually an hour or so, I've got a group that's a little north of here, I'll go up there and do once a month where I do a wellness webinar for them. And different groups, I do different ones in different places if they're close. I do fly though. I do fly places, not randomly for people, one at a time. But if I have a large group in an area, then I'll go up to that area. We've got several hundred people, and I'll fly up there and do an event for them every once in a while. Does Eon have to be taken while it's sleeping at night? No, I use my Eon during the day. You can definitely do it day, but you can do it at night. It's whatever is best for you. Can one patch be used 6 hours on and 6 hours off, 6 hours? No. The patches are designed to be used for 12 hours, okay? If it makes you sleepy, then use it at night. There's nothing wrong with that. Just use Eon at night, but you want to leave it on 12 hours. The studies that have been done for 20 years, different doctors, scientists, researchers across the globe, consistently 12 hours on is your best benefit. If in the beginning you feel like you need to use it a shorter period of time for a little bit, that's fine. If you're someone that, like with the X39, experiences a lot of energy, we'll just always say move it below your belly button or the bottom of your foot. But with Eon, just use it at night if it makes you tired. It's just bringing your nervous system into balance. So your body needs the rest. Probably, I would say your adrenals might be a little worn out. So here's the thing with the adhesive, we are a 3M hypoallergenic patch. If you feel like you don't want that on your skin or you feel like it's bothering you, yes, you can take it and you can put it right here, just like we do on a dog collar and wear it like that. It's still working. Your body emits heat or light 2 to 4 inches out. You know that when you sit down next to someone, you're like, oh my God, you're hot. God, you can feel your body heat. Or some of the women, they're like, I'm freezing. I need to snuggle up against you, right? So that heat is felt. So you don't have to have it on your skin. You can put it on the inside of your clothing, or you can put it on, on the outside. It doesn't matter. As long as it's within 2 to 4 inches, it's perfectly fine. Okay, carbonated water. So if you're using, like, this is a sparkling mineral water, it's really good for you, really healthy. But I would stay away from too much carbonation as far as like the fuzzy, bubbly, types of drinks that are full of typically some type of artificial sweeteners and things like that. I would stay away from those if possible. As far as the Celtic sea salt goes, I use it on my food. So I'll do, a crystal in the morning, before my glass of water, maybe once or twice again throughout the day. It really just depends on your hydration level. And you can tell that from your skin. If you're hydrated, your skin looks and feels hydrated. So if your skin, you can do that hydration test where you pull your skin up, it should go down immediately, right? And if yours doesn't, you see how fast mine goes down? I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Woo, it's gone. But if yours doesn't, you're dehydrated. So I would just kind of judge that based on what's going on with you and your body. Okay, we have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions. Let's see here. Oh, that's good. You heard a testimony will someone's bone spurs disappeared. That's amazing. Does mineral water cause inflammation? I'm going to say no. Definitely not from my research and not from my personal experience in drinking it. And David's, we had this conversation last year. So as far as pain, anywhere in your body, X39, Eon, Ice Wave, 100%. Okay. I don't want to say that X39 is going to affect glucose levels. That's not its necessary initial job. Not saying that it can't impact your glucose levels, but we know obviously your food is going to impact your glucose levels. So stop eating the processed packaged white, floury, sugary, pastas and breads and foods, things like that. That's going to be the best thing to help your glucose. Carnosine, using X39 carnosine balances the glycation process. So if you need help in that department, I would definitely use the X39, the Eon, and the carnosine. Okay, so one more question. Last question. I'm sorry, there's not an option to unmute. I apologize, but we just don't have time for that in this type of setting. If you come to one of our private, like an online wellness webinar, a short, smaller one with somebody, that may be an option to be able to do that. All right, so when you have a broken bone, that's a great question. Last question, broken bone. Use your X39, use your Eon, use your Ice Wave. We've seen time and time again with people where their healing time was exponentially reduced because of using those patches. Reduce the inflammation, help your body activate its own stem cells, get that energy moving with the Ice Wave. If you didn't get your question answered, please get back with the person that invited you. You know, there's about 400 of you that have been on here tonight. We all are connected together. We all work together so someone can answer your questions to make sure that you're getting them answered and help you to build your pack with the patches that are best for you and for your family members, people that you love and care about. So we look forward to seeing you again on a Zoom. We do this every Tuesday night, and we will definitely be looking forward to seeing you again. Bring your friends and family members on our next Zoom. Thank you all.